Hi everyone, my name is Maureen Little. I run technology partnerships at a company called Okta. And you've been seeing this kind of progression, smaller company, larger, early public company. And I guess I'm the person that's supposed to talk about how easy it is to scale and be at a publicly traded company. If that was your goal, I don't know how to tell you that because that would be a lie. So scaling and joining a larger company with multiple partnership programs is what I did about 2.5 years ago at Okta. Okta is a very large identity company. Who here actually has Okta at their workforce? Okay. We do other stuff, you know? We do other stuff. We have a customer identity platform. We have some really cool security products. I get it, cybersecurity is boring. But when I joined there, you know, it is big. It had multiple companies they considered partners. It had many integrations. We have 7,300 integrations. 15,000 companies use Okta products. Some use multiple products, some use one. We're at, publicly, you know, we're at about 1.3 billion in revenue, and our contracted revenue, that is, because they're multi-year contracts, is over $2.4 billion. So I walked in there having done first partnership person at a company, starting a team at a mid-sized company, and this is the largest company I've worked at since out of college. Now, 7,300 integrations. Doesn't that sound so cool? Do you know how many people thought they were partners of Okta when I joined? This is a fun one. Like, what do you think? 9,000? Yeah. It's like everybody, I'm a partner of Okta. Where's my marketing? Where's my quote? Hey, can I have a meeting with Maureen? We're gonna do some stuff. Can you drive leads to me? And so the very first thing that we're gonna talk about here is how to build a healthy partner strategy. That might sound cheesy, but I genuinely mean it. I think you can learn some of this stuff even if you're at a smaller company. Actually, who here is under 10 million in revenue? Great. Who here is under 50 million in revenue? And how many here are still privately held companies? Okay. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, guys. Okay. So when I first came, there were thousands and thousands of companies who perceived themselves as partners of Okta, but they actually had a list of 180 partners. And I came in and I looked at it. We also did not have the CFO's approval on how we tracked, influenced, and sourced revenue out of our partners. We had partner pockets. There were some partnership teams sat under product, some sat under corp dev, some sat under sales, right? This is what happens when you grow really fast. There's nothing wrong with it. No one does things to be super inefficient and screw everybody over. No one has that intent. But when you walk in and you're trying to build strategic partnership layers, which is actually why I first was brought in, what is that strategic partnership model that works at Okta? And as a platform was evolving, how can you find companies that will integrate in and on with us, embed identity into their product line, and sell for us, right? That's everybody's dream. That's like, what we all strive to do, okay? Couldn't actually do that until we did a few really important things. Okay, rules for a healthy partner ecosystem. See, one picture. Yes. First of all, you have to align to your company strategy. You're all gonna eye roll and be like, yeah, I do that. No, you don't. Second, you're gonna have to build an actual scalable program that includes automation, the right team, right? Third, you're gonna have to drive visible impact. Press releases is an impact, people. No one cares. Please. I can do a press release right now. Maureen Little from Okta says, right? Drive visible impact, okay? And fourth, you gotta focus on your people. The majority of my talk is going to be aligning on company strategy because I would say if you want to make it from a small to a big company, or if you want that job, of that publicly traded company to come in and consolidate their partner programs, this is your number one thing. I think everyone has been talking over the last 2 days about a lot of great tools as you're starting partner programs, but this is really where we need to just hunker down, okay? So, this is a fun one. Anyone here have a corporate strategy function at your company? One, like super small. We're like under 10 here, right? If you don't have a corporate strategy function, from my experience, I became the corporate strategy function at the smaller and mid-sized company. Why? Because if you have the right partner program, You have to be fully aligned to product and engineering, sales and marketing. You have to understand what your customers are doing. Finance, back office, can't ignore those guys. They'll kill a deal faster than anybody, right? It's like a hobby for them. So we do have corporate strategy. I sit under corporate development, a gentleman named Monty Gray who came over from SAP. He's big company all day, every day. Not sure why he hired me. So corporate strategy was, though, looking at separate things. It was looking at product strategy, TAM, your total addressable market, right? And then it did a little bit of sales strategy. Well, you have to really think about what is your product today? Is your product partner dependent? Sit with that for a second. Is my product partner dependent, partner enhanced, or partners are just really here to sell it and help me monetize it? Totally different partnership motions aligned to those needs, right? Sales, marketing, you can't ignore your marketing team, especially if you do not have a specific partner marketing organization. And then as you get to be a bigger company, corp dev and M&A, you really need to think about who you partner with in certain categories where you might make investments or acquisitions. You can't become that company that screws over M&A targets and steals ideas. You will get blackballed, especially as you get into bigger publicly traded companies. Okay, so I told everybody you're gonna have homework. I really meant it. So if you do not have, I don't care how small, how big you are, if you do not have a 3-year vision document, I don't care if it's in Google Docs, I don't care if it's slides, if that works best for you. If you have not articulated a 3-year vision after interviewing all of your key stakeholders at the executive level of product, sales, marketing, finance, et cetera, you are not running a healthy partner strategy, period. I did one like 6 months in. I laugh when I go back and read it because like 80% of it is stupid, but it doesn't matter. I reiterate that, and that document lives, and we go on road shows. The clearer we came with our partner, our consolidated partner strategy, we road showed to every department. Okay, this is an actual inside scoop slide. I've taken out some stuff, but this is how we prioritize at Okta. And it is kind of cool. Again, you're gonna go, yeah, I get it. But think about it. We take internal signals. That's super hard, but we listen to Gong, sales information, we listen to SEs, we do interview, we sit in on customer advisory boards, right? You listen to leadership, product leadership, but then we also have external signals. Our department reads so much. We read about certain categories and verticals that we're in. We read about identity specific. We also just read about big customers who use our products. So you have to listen to your external, you have to listen to your partners. And then it is our job as a collective team, and that's why Tech Partners sits under Corp Dev, to determine where we focus and whether we build, buy, partner, or invest. Okay? You should have some structure like this. Just throw it out there. Right? Throw some structure like that out there and start having those conversations with your counterparts. So for those who have product-dependent partnerships, this is a really difficult thing to do. But you need to understand that they're product-dependent, so you need to know what your roadmap is. You actually have to understand your roadmap. I'm slightly technical, just enough to be dangerous, but I am not an engineer. I've never built anything. I'm not a developer. And at Okta, we have now consolidated all product-dependent partnerships. We also have all commercial and go-to-market partnerships. And now I'm starting our developer partnerships and also strategic initiatives. Strategic initiatives for us is a brand new partnership or go-to-market motion that doesn't exist. A good example in IT and security is MSPs, right? Managed service providers, an OEM model, a reseller or co-sell model. But in the product side, you might be doing product differentiation. You're gonna be talking and doing joint development. You're gonna have to get those go-to-market rights, but you're gonna have to have a totally different contract for joint development and product work. And then you're also gonna have to really be tied into customer success. I'm gonna get to metrics in a second, but you're gonna have to understand how many of your customers actually use that thing that you built with your partner. Because if nobody uses it, y'all, it was not a good idea. You've got to move on, pick it up. Don't try and repeat that. Don't try and put it out there to your scaled partner program. Sales and marketing, again, you guys are gonna think, oh, of course, I do this all of the time. Do you sit in on sales leadership calls? Do you have a document? Do you work with your sales operations? Do you know what your sales leader is focused on? Do you know what markets they're gonna go after? What customer size? Have you interviewed to see what the top technologies and ISVs they are already using? If not, you don't know that you're aligning to your sales and marketing plan. Big watch out here, because I really screwed up here. So you have to think about every partnership model and how that revenue will be recognized. If you're a publicly traded company, true story, I worked on a deal and we got it pretty far along, and then we brought it to finance for approval, and they were like, we can't recognize the revenue that way. I was like, sorry, what? Yeah. That's why you have to understand how the company, what your pricing is, how your margin management is, how you're recognizing revenue, whether you are about to go public or public. These are some of the things that are big watch outs as you get to a bigger company. The other thing is, when you're articulating your vision, just remember that the partnership motions drive certain outcomes. No one in your company really gives a shit about your partnership motions unless they have to help you execute them. They care about the outcomes. So what are the motions that you're going to put together and scale inside your organization that help product positioning? Which ones will influence revenue? And are you actually going to do some partnerships that are going to source revenue? You have to make sure you're really clear about not only what those are and what the outcomes are, but prioritize them to your company. This is an example. This is not too far off, right? So we did lightweight modeling on certain, should I just get out of the way? Okay, so we did lightweight modeling, and we determined which ones were gonna have highest cost, highest impact, and then we force ranked and prioritized what we were going to do and when we were gonna do it. This is just a concept. You guys, you all have totally different products. I can't tell you what to do. You have to align this to your product organization. Do you have flexible APIs? Do you already have a marketplace underneath? Do you have, I don't know, it all depends. But I'm telling you, you have to do something like this. Then, and I would love to tell you guys, it's this like perfect road that you walk down and everything works so well. Nothing ever changes. Bull, right? Your company milestones will completely rip apart your partnership strategy. And at most companies, unless you're a partner first, which is rare, unless you're a partner first organization, meaning the product feeds to partners. Sales is led by partners. If you're not a partner first organization, certain company milestones will totally change what you need to work on. So don't assume that that beautiful document that you wrote is going to stay there, right? Okay, everybody get it? Have I hammered home you better have a strategy document that you've tied with your corporate vision? And then finally, and Nisha is here, someone who runs our programs and operations, I did a roadshow. I don't know where she is. How many meetings did I have where I said the same goddamn thing? Like 40? I was like, can we just record me? So you gotta take that vision, you gotta articulate it, you gotta have approvals. We went all the way up. I have a direct relationship with our CPO. I have a direct relationship with our CTO. I have a direct relationship with our CRO and our president and our CEO. If I didn't, I wouldn't be able to change and have a consolidated and big impact partnership strategy, and I wouldn't be able to execute. Okay, so scalable programs. Yesterday we heard that we don't need partnership tiers. In some instances, absolutely, I think that is going the wayside. At bigger companies, unfortunately, every ISV wants to know what tier they are at Okta. So you have to segment your partners, especially when you get into the thousands and you're trying to source departments and teams to build or market with them. We created partner categories. You got to document it, and you've got to automate. So we're going to get into this for a second. What is your outcome? If you don't already, I hope you have a partnership external document about what partners mean, their value. It has some zhuzh. It's like, we love you, you're great, and here's what you got to do for us. I hope you're asking your partners to commit. I hope you have requirements. I hope you have certifications. They should do some work, right? Now, as you're smaller, guess what? Because I've been on the other side. You do all the work. That's okay. The other thing is, you guys, you don't need to start from scratch. There's like 1,000 companies where you can go pull down their partner documentation and just start and see what works. Okay. This is, again, a stripped out, oh, okay. This is a good one, I guess. So when I went in and there were 180 named partners and everything was sitting in different systems, we built a criteria. And this was actually a really fun project that we did both with partnerships and our product organization, where we determined what defined a valuable partner to Okta specifically, right? Not just because they worked with us for a long time or they're really nice guys, because we had a lot of that, right? So we built a criteria. Some of them that I think are really important, depending on the size of your business, is the ARR potential. We actually have a minimum for you to be a certain level of partner with Okta. We have to believe that in the first 2 years, we will drive 10 million in influence revenue together. If not, you do not get an actual person. You do not get a partner person. You just don't. You get to join our automated program. For you to get custom integration tools and joint development, you have to drive over $30 million to Okta, right? Now, your criteria is going to be a little different. When you start out, that's okay. But you have to have these kind of things, and they have to be things that you cannot dispute. Then you clarify where they stand and how many you can manage and what matters. This is the slide that I shared on my roadshow, not the other one. I said, hey, you guys, strategic partners, we are going to sell through them. Our growth partners, we are going to sell with them. Our integrators in our community, we are going to connect and expand our products. That is what our CFO cares about, our president, our CEO. Then what you want to do is, if you need to clean this up, maybe you're at a smaller company, so this already exists. We had to build up our partnership process, and we reevaluated every company that we worked with. Every single one of them. Lot of upset partners. But then we defined our deal flow process, what stage certain partners came into. And actually, if anyone wants a version of this, I'll send it to you. Just hit me on LinkedIn, okay? So now we have the categories. We know who our partners are. We know how they're going to create value. We had to bring in some software and really smart people. So believe it or not, I am not an operational person. I'm a little fly by my seat in my pants, and I like to be in the room. I like to have the idea. I like to throw shit out on a wall. So the first thing I asked for, I was like, yeah, I'm going to need someone who knows how to run programs and operations. It is not this gal. And also, we were separating from our channel and alliances, our traditional SI department. We were separating because technology partnerships were so extremely different. So that was the first thing that I did. And then we started to think about what tools do we already have and how do I automate? So when you bring in software, smaller companies, here's a watch out for you. I was at a company that, we'll just build that. We'll build the marketplace. We'll build the reporting tool. We'll build the partner portal. Sweet Jesus, no, please stop. Please stop. Go build the product that is for our customers that we're being evaluated on. There's so much good software out there, you guys. There's so many free trials. There's so much stuff that you can use. Just don't. Crossbeam, absolutely, right? We live on Salesforce because everybody does. Shit, they're a big partner of mine. Can I get that edited? Can I? But don't let your product team build it. Even if you're small, just start testing out and licensing third party, because if you're trying to get to scale, what you built will not work and you will lose your engineering resources. It's actually one of the biggest issues I walked into at Okta is they built a huge catalog of those integrations, and then they got to 7,300 and they're like, oh, we have one engineer that knows how to update that catalog. It's like, oh, that's not gonna work, okay? So automate, go find software, and find someone who knows how to do that. Visible impact. Does everybody know what's measurable at their company? I love that. She just gave me like, maybe. Okay. Integrations. Can you see who integrated, the usage of it? Is it something that you can access? Is it something the partner themselves can access? Can you actually track influenced revenue or teamed revenue? Okay. How do you track it today? How does Salesforce or whatever your CRM system track it? Is it automated? So maybe spend some time just making sure you're really clear on everything that is measurable. If you have something that you think ties to those partnership motions that we talked about earlier that is not measurable, Go talk to someone in engineering, in data, in product, and see how you can start to measure it. You actually might change how your API is constructed. You might actually ask for partner attestation. Does anyone know what that is? Okay, so if you can't measure something, you can actually, in the contract, force your partner to send you a report. They have to attest to how many times they did X, Y, Z. So find out what's measurable, and then you have to over communicate this. Here's another big thing. We communicate out a ton. We have quarterly internal newsletters, we do enablement, I tell you we do road shows, and scorecards, again, I didn't make, Nisha did because she's amazing. They get sent out to the executives. It shows how many leads we drove, which partner type is driving the most, new integrations used, right? That kind of stuff needs to be just standard because your partner should always fall into one of two categories. This is my belief system. Your partners should either be part of your go-to-market or part of your product. Sometimes they overlap, that's awesome, right? But they have to do something and you have to be able to measure it and prove why that matters. In your data, a couple things. Segmenting your partners and your partner categories as you get bigger matters. Because then you can go align and say, I dedicated a head to my security type of partners and X amount of marketing funds, MDF. My output was this, right? Versus I didn't dedicate anybody and this category is blowing up, but I have no people on it. So what is working, what is not? You have to track it by partner and by category. You always have to provide context to the data. We don't just put the data out there, we tell a story. Maybe it's a customer quote, a story from a sales rep that goes along with a new partnership model that we put out. And then here's a big one, don't shy away from bad results. You guys, some people won't trust you. They just won't. They won't trust you. If you don't know if your data is accurate, I've said that before, we're like, we think we're tracking this well, but we are really struggling to get this kind of data and that kind of data. So I always tell a story, and if something is not working, we raise our hands pretty early, and we then, pivot and do something different. When you focus on your people, we did a functional org chart. Who here knows the difference between just like a regular org chart and a functional org chart? Functional org chart says, what are the roles, what are the people doing? What products are they aligned to? Are they revenue driven, et cetera? And then you have to, again, align those to your product or revenue. In Okta, I have both, right? So we had to think about what the roles were. When you're thinking about people, the hardest thing about a partnership organization at scale is, you guys, we don't do anything on our own. We really don't. Right? Everything we do is touching legal, BT, product, finance. We are the connective tissue, so you have to build your allies. And then you got to model the behavior. I'm in the room. I'm in meetings. I'm writing strategy documents for an idea. We do one-pagers or two-pagers called North Star documents. You don't get to throw out an idea. So we build and we have templates for North Star documents. I make them myself. What are the roles? Is someone a hunter? Do you guys need to hunt new partnerships, right? Is someone in charge of growth? Is someone in charge of programs? In my 25 years, I have found that it's really hard. I know, I totally look like I'm right out of college. It's really hard. I find that sometimes people can be a growth person who will almost sit next to the partner and learn all of their products. Sometimes can be the same skill as a hunter, but it's kind of rare, honestly. So depending on how big your org is, start building a functional org, start talking about it in the way, and start adding people and headcount, removing the names from it so that they can evolve, but you're clear about what roles are going to be available as you grow. Then you want to see where do they land. Again, we're a bigger organization, so we have hunters that are out there, they're researching, they're in meetings, they're spending time with Okta Ventures who invests in company, they're spending a lot of time in M&A, they're spending a lot of time in product and sales. They're the hunter. They're like, you know what we should do? We should do this. We should do this in zero trust security. We should do this in CDP world, for example, right? Implementing and launching is often a different skill set that we have actually consolidated. We didn't need a specific person per deal. We were able to find a way to streamline that. And then the nurturing growing, this is a brand new role at Okta over the last year where we have strategic partner managers for some of our most strategic partners, because what was happening is our people that were the most aggressive on deal terms and asking hard questions and meeting with products and CEOs was not able to also go through everything that we needed to do to launch a new feature. Finally, I told you about those allies. Make friends. Ask them what their MBOs are. Sit in their team meetings. We just launched a ambassador program, and we put ambassadors from corporate development into the key departments. They join their monthly meetings, they read all of their strategy documentation, and they bring it back to Corp Dev and consolidate up the 3 highest priorities. We launched that ambassador program, and each department we thought was gonna be like, oh, why are you in my stuff? Guess what? If you wanna run a partnership organization, you don't stay in your lane. You're never gonna stay in your lane. Your nose is gonna be in everybody's business, right? If you're doing your job right. So how do we wrap this up? She just talked a lot, she moves a lot. Did she eat breakfast? So this moment, we're just gonna talk about you. Do you love what you're doing right now? Did you come from sales? Did you maybe come from product? Maybe you're the CEO, that you're starting the company and you're having to do your partnerships yourself. If you wanna run a really big and scaled partnership organization, make sure it's who you are and you have the skills, you're self-aware, because you have to have product knowledge, you have to have deep sales knowledge, you have to understand the financial, you have to do the modeling, you have to build the strategy, you have to be able to be in conflict with your CPO, your CTO, and your CEO. It's okay to not want to do that. It's 100% okay. Life is short, you guys, right? I was talking to Jared last night, and he said something interesting. He said, very few people who build scaled partnership programs go and do it again. I can't see him. Do you know why that is? It's really fucking hard. The joke is like, how many departments have my face on their dartboard? It's a lot, because everything that you're doing, if you're going in to build a scaled program, is you are jacking up what they were already doing. If you're doing your job right, you are jacking up what they already had on their roadmap, how the sellers were already gonna sell, how finance was already gonna recognize the revenue. Because what you're supposed to do is build brand new routes to market. You're supposed to differentiate your products. If you're building strategic partnerships, you stop the train that was going. I sell this way. Here's my rate card. Here's my discounts. Here's my reseller, right? We are launching embedded programs. We launched on AWS Marketplace and do now co-sell with AWS. Couldn't have pissed off more people when we launched that. Okay? So think about what you need to have. How are you gonna evolve? What skills are you missing? If you don't know how to do lightweight modeling, you just don't. Then go do something different, right? If you don't think about the end revenue goal of a new partnership category and you don't start talking about that early, and that's okay, go do different types. So we segment out our partnership organization and people get to live in the skills that they absolutely love. But your partnership team will evolve, you will have to evolve, and ask yourself, do I like this? Do I like this big scaled partnership program? Do I like being the indirect revenue team? And if I do, then make sure that you articulate why you are the biggest reason that that company is going to hit the next billion. Okay? Thank you guys so much.